Hey guys, I'm Cyrus Toby, but most of you know me as Saga Everything. And today I'll be doing an Autism Awareness Month video, in which I talk about my experiences with autism. Most of you are wondering where Sagos is and why I'm not editing this. Most of you want to make this a raw, real video. Also, yes, this means that's going to be unscripted. But don't worry, I do have another video for Autism Awareness Month that is scripted, that's on the works. But yeah, when I was 3 years old, I was diagnosed with autism. The doctor gave my parents advice to take me to therapy. And that's what he did, so I was given a lot of help early on. Even now, I still have a speech therapist for the occasional times I stutter. Therapy-wise, my experiences were good. I used to want to go to that ball pit thing, but however, I couldn't. But besides that, it did help me to learn to speak and develop better communication skills. One of the ways they figured out that I was autistic is due to my distinct hatred for loud noises. And to be honest, sometimes my hatred for loud noises do show up time to time. A year ago, a fire alarm was pulled at the school while I was taking a nap. That stalled me to the point where I just closed my ears waiting for it to be over. But then I realized I had to walk outside, so I decided to stop doing that. But really, I don't hate loud noises as much as I used to. I have vivid experiences of closing my ears waiting for all the noise to be over so I can get to class. But those were very old experiences. Hell, it's not just loud noises that scared me. My mother used to have her alarm in the most gentle thing. But yeah, when I was young, I closed my ears and run out, because I could hear it loudly. So yeah, for me, loud noises wise, I was never a fan. And most of the time, I sort of seclude myself. At the playground, I usually just wander off by myself instead of hanging out with the other kids. That's also because I'm not good at interaction. Hell, sometimes I'm still not good at interaction. But that doesn't mean I didn't have friends. Far from it, I had a lot of friends who supported me during my years as autistic. Most of them I cannot name, but however, they were a big help. One of them was sort of a voice for me. Whenever I had a question but I couldn't say it, my friend just go up to the teacher and help me out. He was a very nice person and it's sad that we cannot communicate anymore. Another of which was my only neighborhood friend for the longest time. And even her little brother became one of the neighborhood friends as well. Sadly, they moved on and off again, so I couldn't tell whether they would come back or just move away again. But I also had 2 other friends which I was not afraid to name. They were named Hammer and Beatball. Before you ask why those names are weird, that's because they were my imaginary friends. Okay, I know this sounds weird talking about imaginary friends specifically, because everyone had imaginary friends at one point in their lives. Well, true, we all had imaginary friends at one point in our lives. In my life, it lasted for like 8 years. I am not that proud of it. I also used to make comics related to those characters, and yeah, they're bad. That's what a 12-year-old would make if they were writing comics. But that's besides the point. Even the therapist at one point questioned about my imaginary friends, if I was old enough to keep having them. But really, all those moments are small potatoes to my school experiences. Because school experiences are just as important as life experiences since you go through school in your lifetime. And most of them were very hit and miss. Jumpstarts instead of primary were very caring about my mental illness. They constantly tried to help me, and you know what? It was such a good thing they did. And I had a lot of friends there. But then we moved to a different town, and this is where the next school was more iffy. Let's just say I didn't like this next school, and I'm not going to mention it because it does not deserve a name call. There are 2 reasons why I did not like that school. Number 1 was mostly because it didn't have a good way to transfer me from my sped classes to my normal classes. In my normal classes, I couldn't work at my own pace, which constantly made me fall behind in terms of grades. In terms of my sped classes, I'm not going to call out names either, but the teacher seemed very fresh on the job, which means she had no clue what she was doing. And she couldn't find the right equipment to help me out, so that was also a bummer. But the main reason why I do not like that school is because I was bullied for my mental disability. It was an uncomfortable time for me, and really, the fact that I had to relive it of naming this one just makes me sick. I'm actually going to start moving on. We were trying to find a bunch of private schools to go to. One of them had sheep guts as a painting. I mean, granted, it was a Jesus sacrifice, but still, it made me uncomfortable enough to tell them about it, and we decided to sell on one private school that did help me. Now, I can't name this school for another reason, mostly because the school doesn't exist anymore, but man alive, was it such a caring environment. The teachers were very cool. And I made a lot of friends. Recently, one of my old friends actually decided to keep in contact with me, so that's really nice. Of course, after a few years being in there, we decided to go to a different school. Public school, in fact, which has been the first time in 5 years since we've been to a public school. But really, it paid off more or less. I'm not going to mention this school's name, mostly because I don't have that much positive things to say, but I also don't have that much negative things to say. On the positive side, I really do enjoy band there a lot. And I made a lot of friends, most of them I am keeping in contact with. But on the other hand, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like a good school. I'm not going to mention the problems with the school, but however, safe to say, it does have good experiences though. Like I said, I enjoyed band, and there is a lot of fun to be had here. I have recently made it to Beta Club, and I am an honor roll student, which is very fun and very cool. And recently, I've been accepted for culinary arts for our career center, which is also a really cool thing. I was also selected to go on a trip to London in 2022, which is something I am anticipating about. Overall, this school has more hits than misses, but it's not my type, just to say. Sadly, we're gonna talk about more stuff like some people who have inspired me to be who I want to be. The reason why I'm gonna keep this segment short, it's because one people that did inspire me was my late grandfather, who passed away back in 2016. He was a big role model in my life, and really I have never forgotten about him. He taught me to assert myself when someone hurts me, and he also did many other things to make me feel a lot stronger than I once was. And really, when I first heard about his death, it was very heartbreaking, to say the least. You'll still be remembered. Just don't ever forget about that. With that said, I was going to expect this video to be longer than it already was, but really there's not much I can add on to what I've just talked about. My life has been a very adventurous experience. There were some high moments in my life, and there was some definite lows. But really, if it wasn't for my family helping me out throughout my life, I would have never gotten to where I am today. And speaking of where I am today, I guess we're going to discuss on why I even started a YouTube channel to begin with. While truth be told, I never did it for money or fame. I always did YouTube just for fun. And really, in terms of YouTube, it's been a rocky road. Sometimes the video will end up being good, while other times the video will end up being bad. But the point is the care and amount of fun you want to put into a video. Don't be a soulless corporation that's just making videos for the sake of making videos. Make videos because you want to have fun making videos. And really the most important thing to take out of this entire video is just to be yourself. Don't let others define who you are. You are you. Define who you are. And really, you can be your own hero. And really, that's it for this video. I'm Cyrus Everything, or I'm Cyrus Toby, signing off.